Chapter 19. The Doorway to Life.
Throughout centuries, death has been so related with taboos, grotesque beliefs, mystery, and superstitions that people were led to fear it and to consider it as the inevitable end of life. Even the religious views of death were mistaken. According to their tenets, the dead were severely judged and had to face eternal damnation if condemned, or eternal salvation if absolved. People then learned to consider death, which is a natural biological event, as a supernatural, much-feared moment, when conversely it is a doorway to real life. Science has demonstrated that nothing ends. On the contrary, everything in nature undergoes a process of transformation. Why then would we end after physical death when everything else changes from one form to another? In all civilizations, mediumship has demonstrated that life continues after death. The spiritualist doctrine made clear the divine laws that govern all life. With spiritualist teachings, survival after death becomes an important assertion. It also discloses the spirit world, demonstrates that spirit preexists the physical body, and also that the spirit world is the dimension where spirit comes from before birth and returns to when life in the physical body ends. With death so unmasked, immortality could be understood and accepted. We reap what we sow. Our happiness or misfortune is a consequence of our very acts. However, no matter what our life conditions are on account of our actions, the presence of love in our lives is the most comforting demonstration of divine fatherhood. It helps us to atone for our errors and proceed with our spiritual ascent. Death is a natural phenomenon. Think about death as you carefully plan your physical life, and program your physical life considering the changes that death will bring into your life. To die is to change one's vibratory condition, but death in itself will not change your emotional reality. If a dear one has preceded you in the journey of death into real life, thank God for his or her liberation. The physical body is like a prison, but it provides us with the opportunity to learn and accelerate our evolution. Death is freedom. However, you must make your life so useful that your death may lead you into radiant joy. Think with serenity and joy in your heart of your loved ones who have departed from the physical body. Do not torment yourself imagining all the things you could have done for them, or of all the words you could have said to them. Love them tenderly. Think of them knowing that they hear you, they see you, and partake of your joys and your concerns. If you really love them, do not send them depressing mental messages. On the contrary, let them know that you are happy, so that they who also love you may rest in peace and wait patiently for the time when you will join them when your time comes. Together you will continue your evolution, resuming the bonds of love that death has temporarily interrupted but not severed. Pray for them, cherish them in your memory, and honor them doing whatever good you can. Whoever saw Jesus nailed to a humiliating cross and suffering the agonies of death would never imagine that later, crowned by divine light, he would rise from the dead and confirm to mankind the great reality of immortality. We must remember, however, that before the morning of resurrection, he had to face the evening of Calvary. Death is the doorway to life, a door through which we all must pass on our way to eternal happiness.